Happy Valentine's Day. So, because it's Valentine's Day, we're going to talk about an infamous couple of the Bible. And we're going to talk about Samson and Delilah. So, let me tell you what. I'd start from the very beginning before Samson ever even meets Delilah, because you have to know kind of the backstory of why the Philistines hate his guts anyways, and where he got his super strength and why. So before he was even born, an angel comes to his mother and tells her that she's going to give birth to a son, Samson, and he is going to be a Nazarite, which is a vow. You're like consecrated to the Lord. You can't do three things though. You can't drink any alcohol. You can't have any contact with a dead body. And you cannot ever cut your hair. A razor can never touch your head. So, because of that vow and his honor of that vow, he was gifted with super strength from the Lord. So, he's basically like the Hulk, but not green. And he doesn't have a very good... He isn't a very choosy in his women. He really likes Philistine women, and all the Philistine people hate him, so that's probably not a wise choice, but that's who he likes. So first, he is with a prostitute in Gaza, and the Philistines know that he's in there, so they decide that they're gonna like kind of sit outside the city gates, and they're gonna wait for him to come out in the morning, and then they're gonna kill him. So in the middle of the night, he gets up and he leaves. Well, he rips the gates, the city gates, off their hinges, and he takes them with him, like just on his shoulders, because he's a beast. So that was thwarted. They didn't get to kill him then. So then he decides that he likes this little girl, and she's also a Philistine, and he's like, she's gonna be my wife. And his family is like, can you not pick somebody here that you like? And he's like, no, she does it for me, so it's gotta be her. So he chooses her, goes down to meet her. On his way down to meet her, he is attacked by a lion. He shreds it to pieces and kills it, doesn't tell anybody. Goes back home. On the way back for the ceremony, the wedding ceremony, he passes by the lion's corpse, and he sees that bees have inhabited it, and they've made honey in there. So he gets the honey out, scoops honey out, eats some of it, takes it back and feeds it to his family, never tells anybody where he got it from or what happened, creates this riddle that is the answer to, and no one can ever solve, tells these Philistine people that are at this ceremony that if they can guess the riddle, he's going to gift them with 30 robes, like fancy robes, and 30 fancy like festival outfits. So several days go by, they can't figure out the riddle, so they go to his wife and tell her that if she doesn't get him to tell them the answer to the riddle, so that they can tell him that they know it, like they're so smart, they're going to burn her and her dad's house down. So she goes to him, he tells her the answer to the riddle or whatever, and she tells them, and then they tell him that they've solved the riddle, and this is the answer to it. And he says, this is what he says to them. I don't think this aged well. He says, if you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle. If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle. Plowed with my heifer. I don't know. Anywho, I don't know if that just struck me funny because I'm immature, but it struck me funny. So anyway, he gets angry with her for telling them, and he goes back home. So later on, when it's time for the wheat festival to happen, he decides that he's going to go back there, and he takes her like some kind of fat creature, I don't know, lamb or calf or something, and he goes in, and her dad's like, you can't go. He's like, I've come home to sleep with my wife, and he's like, no, she's not your wife anymore because I thought you hated her, so I gave her to your best man, and now they're married together. So she has a younger sister that's pretty though. Would you like her? Like, I can't even with the Old Testament. I don't even know. So he's like, no. So he gets angry. And he catches 300 foxes, and he ties their tails together with a torch, and with a lit torch, and then he sends these 300 foxes tied together in pairs out across their land. They burn down all the wheat and all the olives and all the things, all the crops. Burn all the crops down. So now the Philistines are mad at her family because that's the reason why he did it, was because her dad gave her away. And so now they go back and they burn down her and her dad's house and kill them. So then he meets Delilah. And the Philistine rulers, so there's 5 of them that come to her, and they tell her that if she can get him to tell them the source of his strength so that they can subdue him, then they're going to give her 1,100, let's be exact here, 1,100 shekels of silver. So, but each of them. So now that would be like $150,000 if she can do that. So she goes to him. First, he tells her, like, if anybody ties me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, I'll be as weak as any other man. So she's like, oh, okay, cool. So she does that. She ties him. They bring her these bowstrings. She ties him up. Then she's like, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. She just wasn't very subtle, you know? And so he bursts out of those. She looks like an idiot. The men are in hiding in there, like waiting they're going to attack him if he really is, you know, like, can't move. So, anywho, now she feels stupid. So she asks him again. And this time he tells her to use 7 new ropes. If she uses 7 new ropes, whatever, weak as any other man, blah, blah, same scenario. They hide. She's like, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. And he's like, bust out of those, and same thing again. She feels stupid. She tells him that he doesn't love her, blah, blah, blah. He's made a fool out of her. Why would he tell you the truth? Anyway, so then he tells her that if she takes the 7 braids on his head and like weaves them in with the fabric on the loom and pins it down, he'll be as weak as any other man. So she's like, okay. So same thing again. Samson, the Philistines are upon you. And he's like, bust out of that like nothing. So now she's really mad. She's like, you don't love me. You made a fool out of me 3 times already. Just tell me what it is. And she nags him and nags him and nags him to death. It literally says that he was sick to death of it. So he finally tells her that he was in this Nazirite vow. And part of that vow with the Lord was that he could not have any alcohol, could not be near a dead body, and he could never have his hair cut. He's never had a haircut. No razor has ever touched his head. If you cut my hair, I will lose my strength. So she's like, done. So he goes to sleep. She has someone come in and shave his head. Same thing again. Samson, the Philistines are upon you. And yeah. He's weak. The Lord has left him. And he is now weak. And so they capture him and take him in and make him a slave. And then it does say that they use him for entertainment. I'm assuming that he was performing feats of strength. But I really don't know what he was doing. Some type of entertainment. In this like big Coliseum situation. And he's blind. They gouged his eyeballs out. First, they gouged this man's eyeballs out. So he's blindfolded and he's performing these whatevers. So he tells this man that's with him, this servant, after he's like performed or whatever, and that to prop him up next to like the 2 main columns of the thing. So he's like, so I can like lean against him. So he does that. And so now he's between these 2 columns. His hair's starting to grow back. He asks the Lord to please give him like one more giant feat of strength. And he's going to finally defeat all these Philistines. So he ends up killing 3,000 of them which is more than he had ever killed in his life, because he pushes against those columns and the whole thing crashes down. So it not only kills the 3,000 Philistines, but it also kills him, which seems like such a waste to me. But I feel like he could have made better choices. When his dad and mom were like, can't you pick someone here because she doesn't even go here? He maybe should have listened to them. 3 Philistine women that I'm aware of. And so this is in like Judges 14 through 16 if you want to read about it, because there's more to it. Like the 1,000 people that he kills, the 1,000 Philistines that he kills with a donkey's jawbone. You'll have to read that for yourself, though, because I don't have time for that right now, because that was a very long story. But I hope you have a really good Valentine's Day and make really good choices as far as your significant other. And also, don't eat food that someone gives you, because it maybe could have come out of the carcass of a dead lion. You just really don't ever know, you know, what you're getting when someone gives you something to eat. I hope your Valentine's Day is wonderful. And you have a good day.